Okay, so we just finished this example. We created the column vectors, saved our settings, did some parameters, and then plotted, and then restored the original parameters. And we saw two graphs, this one and this one. Now we can add some titles and subtitles and so on, like this. And we're also going to add the range for the x and the y axes. So try this one, see what you get, and then come back and we'll continue. So here's what I got, and you can see that the x-axis extends all the way down to 0, so from 0 to 60, and the y-axis all the way down to 0, from 0 to 70. So what would have happened if we left these out? What would have happened if we left these two out? So we've seen this kind of problem before. If the graph doesn't go down to 0, if the data doesn't include zeros, then the R won't show you the 0 axes. Well, actually it won't show you the 0 axes anyway, but it won't even show you the 0 location. So it would look like this. So, this could be a little confusing, right? Because we don't see where 0 is. We don't see where 0 is down here. But that's what R shows you without the x limit and y limit definitions. So he says that many high-level plotting functions, for example the one we're just using, plot, and also these two, allow you to include axis and text options. So that's what we just did, as well as graphical parameters. For example, the following adds a main title, we didn't check that, subtitle, and axis labels, we didn't check that either, but we did do this. Let's see it again. So here, I guess this is the, down here, this is the subtitle. We have color red for the graph, and some other options here, and the X label and the Y label, drug response. He says, again, not all functions allow you to add these options, and you have to check the help to see whether those particular options are available for the particular function you're interested in. For finer control and for modularization, you can use the functions described in the remainder of this section to control titles, axes, legends, and text annotations. He also says that sometimes these high-level plotting functions, like plot, include default titles and labels. You can remove them by adding ANN equals false in the plot statement or in a separate parameter statement. Okay, so this should remove all the defaults. So there's a titles function. Next there's a titles function, and you can adjust the title and the subtitle and the labels for the X and Y axis as well with that. So if I run this, after having run the plot, it writes on the plot graph. You can see there's some green and some red up here where I added this, so it adds extra text there, as you can see. Okay, we can also make some adjustments to the axes by using this function, which takes on these, has these parameters. So side 1 is bottom, 2 is left, top, right for the axes. At is a numeric vector indicating where the tick marks should be drawn, meaning For example, here we create an x vector, which is going to be where the tick mark should be drawn, and we do at that x vector, at that x vector, and so what we get is tick marks, meaning here, these are 1 through 10, the tick marks, this line, this line, this line, this line, these little lines, and that's because we set where is it? Here, axes equals 2, so that was the side parameter. Remember, axes, the first parameter is 2, is a side parameter, where 2 means the left side, so that's the y-axis, more or less. So again, we do axes 2 means the left side, and we do tick marks here. Labels is the next one here. Labels is a character vector of labels to be placed at the tick mark. So we wanted the numbers to be placed at the tick marks. So we have these labels here. And next is the column axis is red. So that's that. And then we can also set LAS. If it's 0, the labels are parallel, and if it's 2, the labels are perpendicular to the axis. So we have LAS equals 2, so they're perpendicular to the axis, so I guess that means this way. And the next one is for axis 4, which is the right side. And we have this on the right side. And it's at Z. So where are we going to have the tick marks? Well, Z is this, which is kind of weird, but you saw it looked pretty weird too. Right, it looks weird. So where are they? It's 10 over 10, 10 over 1, which is 10, 10 over 2, which is 5, 10 over 3, which is 3.3, 10 over 4, which is 2. So we're getting these for the tick marks. And labels equals round Z. So the labels, remember, are what the characters that we're going to put next to the tick marks. So you can see what we put there are these characters in blue. But remember, like, this is really much, it's like 3.3333333. So we want to round it off. So we do round Z and only use 2 digits. Okay? And then the axis color is blue. And now why is the other one wasn't red? I think it should be red. I don't know why it didn't come out. Let me try and run this on my computer if I can. No, I'm sorry, that's my mistake. Yeah, it's the digits. This determines the text color, and so does this one. Okay. Okay, next is this one. He says, at this point we've covered everything in here. We've done everything except for this and this one. But actually it's not this one. He's using lines. He made it, this is a typo here. Which, by the way, this document, chapter 3, is in our class folder. So if you're reading it, this is a typo. Okay. A plot statement, we know, starts a new graph. By using the lines function instead, you can add new graph elements to an existing graph. So here, we're using lines. Now we know the problem with this, we've seen it before. If the x-axis is not ordered from least to greatest, we won't get probably the kind of graph that we want. But it is apparently ordered. What is x, in fact? It is ordered. It's just this sequence from 1 to 10. So we're plotting x versus y. In fact, y is the same thing as x. Whoops. So here it is here. Okay? And so that's the lines function. And it has color blue. Sorry, I pointed to the wrong one, right? This is the lines function here. Because it's z, it's not x and y. So it's blue, and it's x and z, whereas the red one was x and y, where you have these definitions up here. Okay, the last one is the M text. And M text, I guess, allows you to put stuff in the margins of the plot. So we have on side 4, which I think is, what is side 4? Side 4 is the right, and we're putting this thing here, which is this text here, and this has to do with the size, and this is the color. Okay? He says we'll talk more about M text in section 3.4.5. Okay?